Test, 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 test.
I'm not forgetting him. I don't think I am. Hi, everybody. So I see you have a big stack of paper in your hands. And that is a good thing because I hate to admit I didn't keep.
Hello.
I
These aren't extras.
They're not.
I'm just kidding.
Okay. So I realized I left last week's at home. So.
Oh, sure.
I know.
I mean, my dog ate it.
Yeah.
That
sounds good.
Or this.
I
From
know
last
I'm
week,
other
yeah.
people, I just haven't been selling.
Well, do you know Billy?
No.
Hey, doing? And Billy, this is Carl.
The boss part of the
Hello.
Kathy Fernandez.
Oh, okay, great.
I didn't get your name.
Marty.
Marty?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. She's smoking like
Nice.
She's teaching me, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know James. What?
Oh, Dave?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, you call him Phil?
That's because I was thinking, remember when we went to look at the floor today, you were there together.
Yeah.
So I went, sorry.
Oh, that's good.
I was seeing them all morning, so I had them on my head when I see everything. But you.
So.
I was in Fairbanks. I ran away for the weekend.
Are you from Fairbanks?
No, I'm from Utah originally,
No kidding.
but my best friend decided that he was gonna go to college at UAM, so I had to go drive down there to see him and. So, James, you brought your materials from last week. Did anybody else bring materials from last week? Nobody did.
No, but I can go get it out of my car, and I think I will do that.
No, it's okay, because my email never went out. My email's broken later.
Oh, that's no worries. Well, at least the toilet didn't back up.
I don't know, there was like
Right.
5 emails.
You can handle the
Amanda
computer.
took a vacation.
Amanda took a vacation and now my email's broken. No.
See what happened when you go to Fairbanks.
I know, I never allowed to shoot again. No, luckily I had these two guys back at the office and they handled pretty much everything for me. It's good.
Well, then make sure you get them shoes.
Thank you, it does make a
I was
difference.
there at the conference, I'm like, oh my goodness.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so this one about might be $199.
Okay, so we might have to pass out contacts.
And I will give you your key after.
Like,
Really good.
Okay.
oh, you did that?
You were standing there. You were looking at me.
I'm out of the grocery today.
So,
Oh, you can't tell.
I was.
I know what a little one.
yeah,
What I was watching you do that too. You have to come here.
Yes.
I get distracted.
Got my cheat.
Okay.
Hey, drop me.
Yes, closing fee is going to change.
Which I can.
Based on this.
36.
You know.
Okay. The electric insurance is for buyers on this one. Your title insurance is going to change based on the sales tax. Registration, that probably should be on there.
Separation.
Whether it's a single family house or duplex, and that will change.
No.
That's.
It's updated, but it's the same flyer. Do you have one?
No. I have one.
What do you? Thank you. So you'll notice that it's the same flyer as last week, because this is part 2. Does anybody remember where we left off?
We're on page 8 now.
Page
Top page 8 of the contract.
So there's a certain way that Kathy likes the points read, is that right, Amanda? Oh, sorry.
Are we make new teams?
No, you're the new captain.
I see
Jocelyn
that.
retired from trenches.
Okay. Oh, she did.
And trader. I know. Now, on the bright side, you guys got to keep the points she left behind.
She was a good piece.
Hopefully it happens. You should be the one that announces points.
Amanda, did you get my
What?
score? I was just kidding, I didn't see your email.
Thank God.
I wrote your email.
That was good.
Yeah, because my email's broken, so keep it grief.
What's that?
Huh?
I can't read your notes, so I'll just go over this.
Okay. What you said.
So team 1. So the first place team is actually team 3. Captain Lisa. Number 1 point getter is Aaron. With three-
Cheaters.
No, I'm sorry. It is Paul.
Oh, man.
512. Aaron, you second place, 301.
Awesome.
Go, Aaron.
Looks like.
I did notice the listings live on MLS. That's incorrect. I should only have 1 point.
You should know the one.
Yeah, I must have been counting each week my same listing was up, but that's
Oh, okay.
obviously incorrect. I wish I had 4 listings.
Cheating, no,
Yeah.
it's cheating.
Yeah.
So,
Minus 2 points for error. Wait,
Yes.
1 extra for honest.
It's by a factor, yeah.
but you're still second place.
So you have 3 listings
I'll
right
take
now?
No, just one.
Just one.
Yeah.
Wait, isn't John Watson in here? Oh, he's up in here.
Oh, look at that.
Maybe I should go.
She usually does, yeah. You can come sit next to me on the other side.
Billy doesn't buy it.
Yeah.
Oh, Billy. Oh, don't worry. I got power.
So then, team 2 is in second place with 1350. Team captain is Carla. The number 1 point getter is John Wilson. Prospect calling is his go-to thing also. Kathy is in second place. And then third place, we're still holding strong. Kelly is the new team captain.
I've got wiggle into that.
Then number 1 point getter is yours truly. Number 2 is still Jocelyn. So we get to keep her points, but next cycle, those will go away. And according to this, yesterday was the last day for this, is that right?
What? That is the April
What's
4th.
what's today's date?
April.
Session number
Oh, is it April
1.
4th?
Yeah, today is only the.
This is
29th.
for the weeks of.
For the weeks of, got it.
So we got 1 week.
1 week. Kelly, get those points in.
I haven't got my points in for 5 weeks.
Like a long time.
Oh.
We can only go back 2.
We can only go back 2 weeks. Great.
Captain.
Captain.
Mary Ann.
No, it's a little precious. You're gonna give me a little. Oh, I thought you were
Yes.
This is wonderful. It was amazing.
Oh, speak.
So for, just real quick, for those of you who weren't here last week, we're going over a contract that a very successful contract. We're in contract right now. And we're on page 8. Full approved contract. And obviously, I tried to block out any information that Joe Blow walking down the street could find if somebody left their handout somewhere. Obviously, you can do research and find out more specifics. Please don't.
Which page? So we're on page 8 of 21?
Yep.
Oh,
And now the actual numbers. Kathy always numbers her contracts.
Okay. How does she do that?
She
She has
prints
little
off
stickers.
labels and sticks them on. It takes about an extra 15 minutes when you're doing it, and it makes so much of a difference to say we need signatures on it.
Excuse me while I eat my cheese. Kathy's on her way. She should be here any second.
But I'm confused, when you're missing like the
Oh, yeah.
disclosure.
Oh, yeah.
like,
Well,
location.
that's what we go through pretty quick to make sure that we've got them all.
Oh,
Oh, we're missing page, it's usually page 8 or 9 that we usually don't get, usually page 9 for some reason.
Of the purchase and sale?
The seller's responsibility.
The seller's
It's
page.
the only one you
We don't get that one.
That's when you really need. Go figure.
I haven't made, I'm sorry.
Have you not actually met Carl?
What?
Hi.
That's cool, nice to meet you.
Nice
I
to
haven't
meet you.
met Carl. So,
Carl, stand up and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Carl. I just started working here on the 1st of this month, so working right along. Working on the Kathy Fernandez team. These 2 cool cats.
Welcome to Jack White.
Well, thank you.
You
My
just get a
pleasure to be
haircut?
here. I did just get a haircut.
That's right.
Yep.
Now I have met you.
I had longer hair and a
Facebook.
mustache as of 2 days ago.
Facebook class.
So
And you writing article, yeah.
in the paper.
Yes, very good.
No, thank you.
Marty,
He's good at Facebook too.
Yeah, Marty needs to introduce herself too.
Absolutely. Go ahead. What team do you want to be on, Marty?
I don't know.
The winning team.
I'm Marty, and I didn't have a mustache or longer hair the other day,
You're lost.
but I met most all of you.
So how'd you come to that light?
Why not start at the best?
Good answer.
Solid.
That's
Did
just
you-
right off the top of my head. That was a good answer.
Did you just become licensed or?
I just passed my test. I'm waiting for my license.
Oh, congrats.
So I'm not really official yet, kind of.
It's okay. Officially, I'm that off with phase 2.
Yes, exactly.
I think Amanda started earlier.
Yeah, I started before I could get licensed. So I worked for Kathy J what would you say, admin type stuff for her. And now that I've reached an age that you can get licensed in the state of Alaska, I've got my license.
Okay.
So we have a lot of fun.
I would
I think so. I'm pretty
youngest
sure.
licensee. I would think Amanda.
You are?
I think so.
How old are you?
19. That's the youngest one to get
Really?
Hello. Hello.
I like you even more.
Here, didn't expect
Yes, and these are newest edition Kathy. Hi, Marty.
Hi, Marty. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. And did you tell me what you said about Marty? Oh, she's a new realtor. Oh,
Yes.
She doesn't have a
I'm
mustache.
sorry.
She doesn't have a
Or
mustache.
long hair.
Hair like that.
And remember, a mustache is her negative.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Oh, it's a beard.
It's facial
both.
hair.
Facial
It's
hair.
facial
Facial
hair.
hair.
So, yeah.
Well, now none of us do.
Women, have you looked in the mirror? No.
That's true.
How's everybody?
Great.
Welcome to Trenches. Welcome to Trenches. Okay, here's the burning question. Hi, you're dear. Nice to see you. He's our next door neighbor. Okay, now here's the question for the day. The question is, who is your hottest number one buyer or seller client? Give us his name, and we hope we're not also working with him. Give us the name and tell us if he's a buyer or a seller, and when you last spoke with that person. Starting with Amanda.
I'm gonna go to Lily on this one, and I spoke. So Lily is my FISBO gal who's kind of relying on us, but not officially listed with us yet. And I spoke with her last on Friday before I left
Okay.
She's a seller.
When's the next call for her?
today.
Good job. Why am I asking this question?
Accountability.
Yeah, are you in touch with your hot clients? Are you, I mean, they're not gonna call you. Typically, they're not gonna call you. We're gonna have to call them. Carl.
This is gonna be a treat for you because I haven't told you the good news yet. This is Reese Miller. He is a seller and he will be selling his condo through us this summer. And I got in touch with him today.
You're right, Carl. You get to take your job. I think I know Reese.
I know.
Reese Miller?
I think so.
Oh, teacher over at West?
Yep,
Yep.
I know.
Yeah, he's got a house and he's got a condo he's been renting. I'm just looking
I
to.
did loan for him years ago.
His wife is a teacher too, I think.
Stacy.
Yep.
Stacy.
Well, that's exciting, Carl. Yay. Okay, next.
Mine is Brandon. I met him at an open house, and it was a really low price. Like it's like $100,000 listing, and he was looking to get a condo there. But the offer was keeping him on board because he would get distracted easily when he's coming up. So, anyways, I finally got him to get the mortgage for him. Instead of getting qualified for $100,000, he's actually $200,000. So now he's super excited. It was just about every other day now. I'm finding him a house.
Have you shown him any homes?
Yes,
Okay.
higher than the price that we originally started at.
Okay, 200 and under then?
205 now. We're almost at 250.
And he qualifies for 250?
Yeah.
Great, great.
Well, we started at 100, so it's pretty good.
He must think you're a hero.
Yes.
So he's your hottest. Okay, good. And how many minutes have you been in the business?
Not even long enough to get a business card or a name tag, so.
So what did you do before real estate?
Well, I've worked at a law firm. I still work at a law firm, and I've had properties for over 20 years now, so.
Of your own?
Yeah.
Your own portfolio?
Yeah.
So you're gonna keep working for the attorney and do real estate?
Yes,
Wow, good.
why not?
If you can, great.
Yeah.
Where will you make the most money, do you think?
Real estate.
All right. I'll bet you're not gonna be with that lawyer forever. How are you today, Aaron?
Great.
How is your name of your hottest seller or buyer
That
client?
would be the Bermans, a couple that I met at an open house a few weeks ago. It was pretty obvious that they had been looking around themselves for a while, and they were also shopping realtors, and for whatever reason, they just took a liking to me. And I followed up with them, been in touch, put them on an email drip, and we looked at 2 properties last week, and this Friday, we're gonna go see 3 more. And they're gonna buy in the next 90 days. They wanna also sell their condo too, because they're deciding to permanently stay in Alaska, because they go back and forth between Minnesota and Alaska. And for work, they're permanently here now, so.
So they're seller buyer clients.
Yes.
Met them at an open house.
Mhm.
So we have 2 open houses that we know work. How many people are doing open houses? Raise your right hand.
Have they been pre-qualified, Aaron?
They have, yeah, for 4:30. Yeah.
You all don't forget, that's why Kelly's here. She's here to help us get your people qualified. But don't forget. And Carl will be doing open houses in the near future.
Yes.
Yay.
He's about to go on a vacation because he's a slacker.
I know, we're not gonna talk about that. He was smart enough to bring a deal almost to this table though, just before his vacation. That was really smart, Carl. All right.
It's, Chad Smith, met him at an open house
Yes, that's 3.
out of Eagle River. And they were 22 weeks pregnant, heading out of state for 3.5 weeks because their granddad died. And so anyways, he was just like the best customer that I met, the individual. He was really good. So I sent him a couple texts throughout that 3.5 weeks anyways, called him, and he remembered my name. He says,
Wow.
okay, well, I'm looking forward to working with you. So set him up on MLS with a little port, sent him the listings. He didn't want to do anything through Easter, and I talked to him. I didn't talk to him, but we emailed this morning, and he sent a few listings he's interested in. So we got to set up a showtime.
Okay, so your full communication has been in an open house and since then texts and emails, right?
One phone call.
And 1 phone call. Are you gonna bring them in the office and sit down and go through a buyer's kit with him
Calling him tonight at 9.
to do that? Perfect. Aaron, did your client sign a buyer representation agreement?
They signed the AREC. I have not presented with the buyer's representation agreement.
Plan to do that
I do,
at
this Friday.
At an interview, right?
Right.
Okay, I have a question about the buyer's representation.
Okay.
Without even naming names, but there's, realtors on both sides of the fence of this. There's realtors I've talked to that said that they feel it's unethical. And I didn't have time to sit and pull the chain and ask why, but I'm wondering I know you have heard both sides of the coin on this.
I've never heard that it's unethical. Never heard that one.
Yeah.
To do what?
To make them sign a buyer's
To have a buyer sign a
representation,
buyer representation
that
agreement.
it just didn't seem right in one sense or another.
It's how you present it.
It has a lot to do with
That's what I was thinking,
presentation,
too.
yeah. It's not unethical, it's not illegal, it's actually good business.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good business.
My sister's a realtor, and I'd always told her, you should get that buyer's rep thing signed so you're guaranteed. And she was the same way.
I think that the school of thought is the realtors are reluctant to ask buyers to sign it because number 1, they're afraid they won't. And number 2, what I do here is if they don't want to work with me, that's fine. I just want them to go away if they don't want to work with me.
That's kind of what.
I want to let them go. Well, the buyer's rep agreement, actually, the last paragraph of the buyer's representation agreement basically says they can terminate with you if they so choose to do so. So the way I present that is we go through the buyer rep agreement and I say, and by the way, if we're not doing a really good job for you, you'll see here in the last paragraph, you can fire me, but I can fire you as well. They all sign it. They all sign it. And one of my best stories about the buyer rep agreement is one of my team members and I spent a great deal of time working with a seller and a buyer. We had the property listed, and my team member did all the showings to these very lovely buyers. They signed a buyer's representation agreement with us, and the buyer representation agreement says, if you buy a for sale by owner and the for sale by owner doesn't pay the commission, we look to you to pay the commission. So we love these people. They ran around, we showed them on many properties. One day on their own, they went to an open house and they put an offer all by themselves on a for sale by owner property. the commission that Jack White would have earned from that transaction was $12,000. So we went back to our buyers whom we loved and we said, you signed an agreement. We've spent months showing you properties. We don't work for free. You owe Jack White $12,000. And they said, oh my gosh, we are so sorry. As soon as you sell our house, we'll bring you a check. I said, let me go to management. We feel badly. 12,000 is a lot of money. We will settle for 8. So when their house sold, they brought an $8,000 check to Jack White, and my buyer rep and I got paid for our time. And I think these people would work with us again. I don't think we lost them. They signed an agreement. We had done nothing wrong. They didn't fire us. We showed them many properties. The buyer representation agreement just creates a business professional relationship between you and the buyer client. It's not unlike a listing. The only thing with even in a listing, they can essentially fire you if they want to in a listing contract. Probably not as easily, but yeah. Anyway, it's not unethical. It's just I think realtors don't have the confidence to get it signed. And you've had them signed before already, haven't you, Aaron? Okay, who's your hottest client and where do they come from and buyer or seller, and when's the last time you spoke with them?
Actually, they don't know that they're my hottest client.
That's what I was afraid of.
No, actually, our son is going to sell his starter house and no longer rent it. In that conversation, he shared, and these good friends of theirs, the Blessings, the elder members of his church, want to sell their home and buy another one, a ranch. And he had been talking to them about me, and they said, we want to talk to her. Give us about another week or two, but I want to talk to her. And I would be glad to entertain her as being our realtor. So in the meantime, that's why I was running papers here to understand when I present the papers, for instance, getting a net worth, I'm picking out like 430, okay. What would the net worth be on that and how it would vary at different points? What changes in that net worth sheet of paper? Obviously.
Is a net worth, you mean a net sheet for the sale?
Yes. It's for the seller, the listing agent. So like suppose they have an idea of how much they want to bring in. And so I'm going to give them an idea of how much they could expect to pay in closing costs. Now, my question is, what fluctuates here other than the obvious, the commission? So, and that's the conversation we were having just now.
Kelly can help you with that.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get all my information gathered and then understand the information so that when they ask me questions, I'm able to answer them. And therefore, they'll be my best customers, because not only will I list their house and get a good price for them, I hope to find them a home too.
So that's your
they're
number
very
one.
special people to me right now.
Cool. But they just don't know it. Okay.
They don't know it yet. Yes.
All right. I think it's very important that you get a lot of information before you talk with them, so you have confidence that you're imparting good information. But don't let gathering 110% of all the information you think you need get in the way of getting an appointment with them.
Okay.
Get the appointment first and then scramble and get the information you need. Because while you're getting information, the next door neighbor who may be a realtor will sign them up. I love it. Her eyes got gigantic just then.
You're going to be my favorite best people.
That's
Yeah, that's true though. That could very well happen.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Get people committed to you. Get in, even if you don't have all the answers. I'm working with Kelly at Home State Mortgage. She's the person that has these answers for you. She can help us with a net sheet. But in the meantime, would you sign this listing agreement? In the meantime, will you sign a buyer representation agreement with me so I can go to work for you? Don't wait too long or they'll get picked by somebody else.
Okay.
Kelly, welcome back, Kelly.
Thank you.
Do you want to tell us about your trip?
Oh, yeah.
All
Have a
right.
marvelous, awesome, amazing trip of a lifetime.
Good for you. Did you tell them where that you went?
South Africa.
Whoa.
When did you get
That
back?
is a trip of a lifetime.
She didn't go to Fairbanks. When did you get
I
back?
got back to 12.
Nice.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. I had to pinch myself every day.
What was the weather like, Julie?
Hot.
Very hot? Were there a lot of bugs?
There wasn't a lot of bugs, a lot of crawly bugs, like crickets and spiders and.
Oh, those kind of bugs.
We're in South Africa.
Bug beetles.
Was this a hunting trip or a
It was a
viewing?
hunting trip.
What, did you bag anything?
I didn't pull the trigger on anything myself, but I did all the hunting. I did the whole hunt and everything from start to finish each day
With your friends? And did they?
Yes, they all got everything they went after. So that was fun.
So what kind of food do you eat on a safari like that?
Well, it was man food.
Well,
I was craving vegetables and fruit by the time I got home, let's put it that way, because it's a hunting camp. So.
Giraffe meat.
Yeah.
Giraffe meat.
No, but it was like
It's a Flintstones.
lasagna, big heavy meals. And not
was it
like-
good?
It was okay.
Did you have people carry things for you?
What do you mean?
Like people who were hired to carry stuff?
Sherpas.
Where we were in a camp that was very isolated. We were like 35 miles from, I don't know, what is that? It's out in the middle of nowhere. And these people had 55,000 acres and they owned this ranch.
Oh.
And we stayed there for 10 days at the hunt at the camp itself. And they're not servants, but they are employees that live on the compound themselves.
Oh,
And
wow.
so the cooks, the housekeepers, the guides, the hunting guides, the skinners, and just everybody was amazing. And they
Were you
all-
able to take a shower?
Yeah, I had a beautiful room. I had
Oh,
the very
really?
last hut down at the end
That's
of the
not a
trail,
kid.
and it was a big stone building with a thatched roof. The thatched roof's about 6 to 8 inches.
Oh, wow.
All the roofs are thatched. And my hut looked out over Africa. Just, there was nothing.
Whoa.
And I just sat out every morning, drank my coffee out on the porch,
That must have been
watched the
nice.
sun come up and.
Oh, yeah.
every night.
I'm
It
so
was,
glad you did that.
it was amazing.
Thanks for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
Okay, did you have any clients left after you did this time?
One of them waiting for me right out there.
Okay.
A hot
Okay.
client.
Yes, and I can't say that I have one particular realtor that brings me more business than anybody else. I have a wide variety. So
Joey's
my,
clients are us. We are her
you are
clients.
my clients. My customers are my buyers. So you are my clients. So that would be your question to me, then, would I have one?
Yeah,
Hey,
but not
I have
necessarily.
several.
Okay, that's good. Well, we're glad you're back. So good to have you here.
Oh, thank you. I need to be here.
Your haircut. looks
We
so
all need you,
cute.
including me. I need to be here too. Okay,
Let's
who's
go.
your hottest A buyer or seller client?
Yep. Truman. I got into his girlfriend. We went into contract this weekend, found her place, and now he's like, no, I want to buy.
Oh, great.
So last time I contacted him was last night because the property that he's interested in, he went to talk to a lender. And so he's hoping to get a big baller by tomorrow. So hopefully everything works out. But yeah, Meg is my hottest right now. He has lots of questions and things like that. So it does humble me to make sure I'm up to par and know. And
She's
things
also
like that.
very smart. She's been with Jack White for how many years, a number of years,
Yeah, going on 10, I think, 2005.
as the transaction coordinator. So she probably knows more about the contracts than the rest of us do.
Try to. I should.
Billy, who's your hottest seller or buyer client today?
Not under contract, is that correct?
Well, I didn't say that, but that would be true. Not under contract.
So I would say Mike Murphy.
Mike Murphy.
He-
That's an E-team client, by the way. They don't always pan out, but this guy seems to be real.
What kind?
E-team. E-team is, when people go to the Jack White website, Ari will distribute those leads to people who are qualified to have E-team clients. It has to do with your experience, I think, or your number of transactions. And then you pay the house 30% for that lead. And frankly, I think the leads aren't that great necessarily, but you never know, so you gotta try. And we got, Mike is a good one.
So Mike, I spoke to this afternoon, and I'm doing another showing for him probably on Thursday. but I need to see if Jordan and Mary Ann are hotter than him. And they came from.
They are.
You know that? Okay.
Just by virtue.
Okay, Becky, name of your hottest client.
Well, I have a few of them.
Just one.
Okay, so probably the listing that I have coming up.
Yay.
So,
Listings are good.
yeah, I would have said the one that I had a few days ago, but it just ended a couple days ago. So he was pretty hot. So he still is. And he's got lots of people that he hopefully will be bringing my way. So I'm happy about that. But it's a listing that I got. She called me, she was trying to find my husband. And then she found me and she said that she only wanted to work with Larry McBain to do any remodeling, anything to do, lay any kind of hands on her house. So, and then she found out that I was a realtor and she said that I want you and only you to list my house.
Yay.
So it was really spectacular. And so we went out there, we've done the repairs that she needs.
So when's the last time you spoke with her, Becky?
2 days ago.
Perfect. That's what we needed.
So
The point of
It's
this
all good.
little exercise is keep your clients close and hot. Keep them warm, touch them a lot, talk to them a lot. Any comments on that? Let's go back to why we're here today, which is going through the bulletproof contract. And we ended up on what page? 19, 8 of 20. Thank you. Any questions so far since we had our little meeting and did this the other day? Any questions so far? Okay, moving on to 8, page 8, in this case of 21. Okay, let's look at 28B. In the event the seller or seller's licensee has failed to notify buyer of the seller's signed acceptance prior to such and such a date by such and such a time, this offer shall terminate. So if you're writing an offer and you know there's 2 other offers coming in, what do you think would be the right thing to do with that deadline?
Make it short.
Make it pretty short. Yeah, make it pretty short. Because you really want the seller to realize that this offer is going to terminate if they don't respond. What do you do if you're the listing realtor and they've given you a response deadline that is impossible to meet because your sellers are out of state? What do you do if you're the listing realtor? Yeah, you call the other realtor and say, can we have more time? And if they say yes, then get that in writing. And Gabe says emails work. I don't know the text work because unless you can go to the FBI, you can't really get them on paper.
Just get a hacker now. Like
Yeah, right.
Kathy, good reference, my wife.
Oh, yeah, good to know. Yeah, Billy's wife is in the right place, but it's mostly the right time, I'm thinking. So, but what I like to do as well is I'll call if I'm writing the offer, I'm going to call the listing realtor, and we've already talked about this. I'm going to call him anyway, ask if the home is still available for sale. Are there any other offers? What's his seller's motivation? What's important to the seller? So that when I write the offer, I have most of the answers I need in advance. So we're writing an offer that has a chance of being accepted. And the other question I'll ask is, I believe my buyer, I'm going to meet with my buyer this afternoon at 4:00. It's possible we're going to write an offer. I'm not really sure yet. I really don't want the listing realtor to know for sure my buyer's writing an offer, because if that listing realtor has a buyer in his back pocket for the property, now he's motivated to pick up the phone and call his own buyer.
Wouldn't he have already done that?
He should have, but he may not have, thinking no offers were coming in. But if he hears from me and now he thinks there's another offer coming in, he may call his buyer up and say, I think another realtor's going to write an offer. Let's get an offer written quick.
Right.
Or let's wait and see what Kathy's offer is going to be. And then, that can happen. They're not supposed to shop offers, but that happens.
That answers my question.
What was the question?
Well, I'm kind of that listing realtor at the moment. I have someone who has viewed the property, is interested in it, but is kind of hesitant, and because of another listing, getting an offer with a price reduction in the same development, identical to our unit, we're going to reduce price because we've had no real offers in 30 days. And I know that if I called him up and said, hey, we're reducing price, he would probably jump on it, and he's not represented.
This is a buyer.
This is a buyer, yeah.
And it's your listing.
It's my listing, And I have a waiver signed by the seller. and-
Allowing you to be a
And
neutral.
I have an ARAC with him.
Oh, wow.
So, but I don't have a buyer's rep agreement with him. He said he's been pre-approved already. He just is just kind of, still shopping around. I've got him looking at other emails, but I'm tempted to just give him a call and be like, hey, I know you were interested before. When I asked him if he wanted to write an offer, he kind of gave me the, so.
But your seller is considering a price reduction? Well, you have a fiduciary responsibility to the seller to make sure the seller gets the most amount of money.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let me think about that for a second.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
You don't want to give the seller's money away, and yet should you tell the seller that you have a buyer that might write an offer that reduces the price? Tough question, isn't it?
I would communicate to your seller that this is a potential and to ask his permission or her permission to communicate that to this potential buyer.
She's right, Becky's right. I think the right
Get their
thing to do-
permission so that it doesn't make you look bad.
You're considering a price reduction. First of all, if you're gonna do a price reduction, why don't you just do it, number one? And number two, do I have your permission to talk to a prospective buyer and let that buyer know that you may be negotiable on your price?
And then you can defend your communication with your seller with the standpoint of taking an unbiased view. You've already communicated that you have a strong feeling that they would probably jump on this opportunity if they knew that they could reduce it. But I need your permission to be able to communicate that. And then you can get a win-win situation.
I think the most important thing is
Communication's
permission to
incredibly
just have a
vital.
discussion with that buyer. But be careful not to overpromise too,
Of
because if
course.
that buyer goes sideways, then you'll look silly to your seller.
Yeah, and to add to it, they're coworkers.
Oh, do they know each other? I mean, do they know?
Vaguely. I mean, they're both in the military and they both do a similar job.
Well, that's another plug-in for you in benefit to both clients. You have something that they're both in common with. And who doesn't like to do business with somebody that they can relate to?
I would have your seller send you an email that says you have my permission to have a conversation with your prospective buyer, that I am negotiable, I could be negotiable on my asking price.
This might be a bad question, but I'm just curious. With the situation, would you ever have the buyer and the seller just
No,
Never,
never?
no, you don't want to do that.
not a good idea.
The only time I've ever put buyers and sellers together is if I know them both well, and I know that they will be civilized to each other. If I know that I can get them to communicate in a civilized manner.
Right.
But generally, no. Generally, no.
We've
Because
had it before.
you've got to stay in control of the transaction.
Yeah.
And then you have to be courteous, incredibly courteous, but with professionalism. If you could do both of those together, you really can't go wrong. Because you're giving them utmost respect, you're representing your client in a way, and you're allowing them to call the shots, but you just controlled it. And then, but you don't want to do what you just said, because, like Kathy was saying, it doesn't make you look good. And you
Well,
never
it's
know
just-
what they're gonna
You
say.
lose control.
Yeah, you don't know what and you can't.
Suddenly, they
control
don't
it
think they
anymore.
need you either, and you don't want that.
So we've had
They
it
do need
before, Larry, my husband, when he was doing real estate, I remember we were in that predicament. So what he did, I thought was pretty doggone clever. He had a couple offers and they were going back and forth and back and forth. And so one, you could ask for permission to reveal, but what he did was he invited them both to Jack White, both parties, and they were going back and forth with each other. So he just had them negotiate in separate rooms, and they came to an agreement, and everybody seemed to be happy with it. So, because he disclosed it all, but he had the utmost control the entire time. So
anyway,
we had to do that.
Let's move on here. 28B, so we have a date that we want that, and I think don't underestimate the value of the word terminate. Your offer, this particular offer would have been dead at 10:01 p.m. on March 15th. So when you have a buyer who's all anxious and says, I want them to make a decision in 3 hours, let's make the termination in 3 hours. And my answer is, do you really want this to be a dead offer in 3 hours? Oh, well, no, maybe I don't. Let's be more realistic. So you got to think that through. Personally, the realtors that give so little time for a seller to respond, I don't understand that, because it's not even courteous. And when they say, I want a response by 5 o'clock, everybody's working at 5, right? How can they respond by 5 o'clock, even with DocuSign? That's asking a lot. Not everybody can DocuSign at work. So these 5 o'clock deadlines, I'm mystified by those. I get annoyed every time I see them. Okay, so moving along, you've got your signature page. Any questions on 8 or 21 in that deadline? Okay, 9 of 21. Let me see what's important here. Oh, the seller has several choices. They'll either accept the offer as written, or they'll make an attached counter offer, or they will reject the offer. Generally speaking, even if you're representing the seller and it's a bad offer that comes in the door, try to encourage your seller to at least counter the offer. You almost never want a rejection of an offer. The only time you might want a rejection is if you have 3 good offers on the table and he wants to take one offer. Some realtors say, well, I'm going to take all 3 offers and I'm going to send all 3 offers back to the other 3 realtors, and I'm going to ask people to come back at me with their highest and best. Mm-hmm. Now we're in a bidding war, and some buyers are fine with that, and some buyers do not want to be in a bidding war. And your risk when you do that is all 3 buyers get their nose out of joint and go away. So you've done your seller a terrible service, because by suggesting they do it that way, they're going to lose all those buyers potentially. So think about that as a worst case.
So what's your recommendation?
I think they should take the best offer on the table and reject the other 2, or ask if the other 2 want to be in a backup position. Now think about that. If they want to be in a backup position, they're relegated as their listing realtor to counter all 3 offers, or at least accept the best, and then take the time to, if you're asking for backups, you do something with the other 2 offers. Because you don't want buyer number 2 to think that the offer they prepared was acceptable if it wasn't acceptable. So if you say, do you want to be in a backup position, and you get a written response, yes, your seller now is relegated to the terms and conditions of the backup offer. Does that make sense? So the backup offer needs to be countered to make it an offer that your seller would accept if buyer number 1 went away.
So that was what you would counter is, you are now in second position.
You're now in second. What I typically do, and that's a good question, I do not want to take 4 more hours to counter 2 offers that we may never deal with. So what I typically do is, would your buyer want to be in a backup position subject to further terms and conditions? If buyer number 1 goes away. So you're not spending hours preparing 2 more counters.
Will you repeat that verbiage?
Does your buyer want to be in a backup position subject to additional terms and conditions? The other realtor is going to say, well, what are those terms and conditions? Frankly, I don't know right now. We have a better offer on the table. Do you want to be in a backup position, knowing that your offer is not necessarily exactly the way we would accept it, but do you want to still hang in there?
Over the last year, I've seen a lot of people take the first deal falling through and getting that second position.
Yeah, so that second offer has to be one that the seller likes,
Right.
or one that you still have time to make the seller like.
Now, the other listing licensee, I represent the buyer, and the listing licensee, you call up and they say, hey, there's already 2 offers on the table. And it's day 1. I'm like, oh, okay, well, actually this happened. But they said that one was a cash offer. So are they able to communicate that?
Sure.
Okay, I thought so, but I was just double checking, because.
They can say it's a cash offer. They're well advised not to say how much it was.
Right, they can tell you if it's a strong offer.
Sure, yeah.
Extreme offer.
That's what I do.
Okay, so that's what was communicated. So I was told that there was a cash offer and another offer. They were both extreme good offers.
Okay.
So I said, okay, fine. And then, so I almost was gonna walk, but I'm like, I didn't want to go there. So I got to know who the realtor was.
I always ask who the other realtor is, and many times the listing realtor won't tell you for some strange reason.
Right. Well, not only that, I tried to get information about who the buyer is and did a little homework.
The other buyers or your buyers?
No, I'm sorry, the listing licensee. And then I also prodded and probed about what kind of an offer.
Sure,
So I got quite a bit of information. you
but
know,
from the listing realtor.
without having him, lose his license or whatever, compromise.
Okay.
And then, so I got a good sense of direction. And then I wrote up the offer anyways, because I was the first one to take a look at the property that scheduled an appointment. And I said, well, they put their offers in sight unseen.
Your buyer did?
No, the other two
Oh,
offers,
really?
they were on the table.
Okay,
And so I was the first one. I responded within the first 5 minutes of it going live.
gotcha.
So I just happened to get lucky. But anyhow, and I let them know that too. And then I pushed my client in a favorable way. I told him all truths. I said, he's already pre-qualified. He's a solid. He's ready to go. I have my letter here on hand, or can get that within a matter of minutes, because I have a great relationship with his lender. He chose the lender.
So Becky, were you successful?
I was extremely successful. Because I got to know everybody.
She asked a lot of questions, but I think the rest of the story is that your buyer offered what? 10,000 over list?
Yes.
There you go.
Right.
But that happened because number one, your buyer had confidence in you.
Right.
And number two, she took the time to ask a lot of questions. She got to know the competition. She got to know the playing field, and her buyer was willing to spend 10,000 over list to be successful.
And I found out after the fact that another offer came in, and they took, my client was less than two of the other offers, and he still went with me.
Why?
Because he liked me.
Who? The
The listing licensee, he wanted to work with me. And then the other two, I really can't say, but I think the cash offer was probably somebody that doesn't even live in Alaska. And I think, and the other thing that I got on was my seller, which is a plus, was okay with, they opened up a lease. We saw this property on the March 16th. I viewed it with him, wrote their offer on the 17th. It was accepted on the 17th.
Okay.
But
So
prior to that, he already knew that this young couple was moving in on the 16th for a year lease. He accepted that.
Okay, Becky, let's move on because I think
That
you
was
answered the
all
question.
good things to get me
But
in
I
there.
think the moral of the story is she called the listing realtor, she
Right.
got a lot of information, and she had buyer confidence and wrote a very strong offer.
Mhm.
How many people have written offers over list price besides Becky? Yes?
But I put a clause in there, like I put like a bona fide offer.
An escalate, did you do an escalation clause? Good for
like
you.
500. But I asked the client, what do you feel comfortable with? And I also let them know, if it doesn't get appraised, we can make it contingent upon the appraisal price.
Yeah,
If it
Yeah, I
doesn't
did that
meet,
too.
Yeah.
and it went down to where it didn't meet, the appraisal came $6,000 below. normal.
Oh my gosh,
So,
did it still sell?
Yeah,
Wow.
it's still sold. It was only $1,000 above.
So what
what
did
they
you
were
do on that?
comfortable with. I did a acceleration clause,
Okay.
but I also made sure that it was like a bona fide offer.
Another, in the escalation clause, and actually we have an escalation clause in some people we're gonna hand out here.
Okay.
But the escalation clause basically says, my buyer will pay X number of dollars over the next highest net offer to the seller, but the seller has to prove that there really isn't such an offer on the table.
Up to, I did up to.
And then you have to have a cap on it, so your buyer isn't paying 15,000 over list. Yeah. Did you have a,
Well, yeah, I just had a real quick question. In this negotiation here that y'all were talking about, so everything should be in writing somewhere in there. Should you send in an email extending this offer for the next 24 hours or 12 hours so that you're not waiting to see if they're,
what I normally do is when we have an offer done, we email it to the listing realtor, but I've called the realtor again and I've said, I just sent you an offer. Our deadline for your seller's response is such and such a date and time. So they know. And it might even be in my email too. Yeah. I mean, we all know where to look for that deadline, but it's a good idea to let people know that. All right, let's move on. So your seller has, like I said, you don't want your seller to reject offers typically, but if you have several on the table, then he's going to have to reject some of them most likely. Okay, next. Now this is a page that we throw in all of our purchase offers because we have a team, and it's important that we tell everybody, every player who our team members are, in the event what, Billy?
In the event I have to go and say, I am the person there handling the property inspection, or
No, that's not the right answer. I thought you might have heard me say this once. Who knows why we are stating who our team members are?
In case you need to use.
Disclosure.
utilize different people in the transaction.
If they have
That's
affiliation.
useful. We're getting warmer. It is good for everybody to know there's other team members on the team, but there's actually a lawful reason that we talk about that. Anybody? Amanda?
Does it have something to do with, like, if something were to happen, it was already disclosed?
No. Here's the reason.
Disclosure?
Affiliated, right?
Well, back to the word affiliation. I tell people, we have to tell people who all our team members are in the event that buyer or that seller is somehow related to somebody on the team.
Yeah, that's why we said disclosure. You have to disclose.
Right. It has to do with relationship.
Yeah.
Okay,
Just
good.
like, it's a small world, like, two of us in this table knows Reese Miller.
Like Becky's husband is in the real estate business as a home inspector and apparently a contractor. And if she is going to have her husband, contractor, touch that transaction in any fashion, she has to do a disclosure to let the world know that she is married to this gentleman who,
Yeah, he's
might
dropping
also
the
be the
windows
home.
on all five of the property windows at the property.
contract page 11 to 21 is our AREC. Now, not every real estate person you deal with puts an AREC in their offers, and it doesn't matter if they're there or not. I imagine if we didn't put them in our offers, Amanda can probably help me with this. If we didn't have them already included in our offers, Jim Gribben would insist at some point he'd have to look to make sure this AREC was signed by your buyer, typically weeks and months before you wrote the offer. Yes, ma'am.
And what they do in addition to signing it that we didn't know about beforehand, we have to initial next to the representation that they're getting.
Yes, always.
Yeah, on page 12 of 21, what Amanda's talking about
But
is,
that's not done here.
It's
It
crossed
is,
out.
it's
yes, it is, we
on the
crossed
side.
it out.
Oh,
Because we put the X's there and then we.
But you have to, what they prefer is you put the initials next to representing and next to neutral, or whatever it is. The initials go there, but I put it, since I do these online, we do X's and have our client's initial on the right-hand side. And this goes in our purchase offer, so that we can tell the world that we complied. I love this one. This is called the buyer statement, and this is something you rarely see anymore, but there was a time, a number of years ago, when we were selling houses like hotcakes. If a buyer could fog a mirror and you could get up in the morning and get over your hangover and go to work, you would have a buyer. 1 month, our goal right now is 6 transactions a month. Last year, we averaged 3.4 transactions a month, Amanda and I did, and Robin. But years ago, we were writing offers like selling hotcakes. And one month, we had 13 offers that we wrote that month. We've never done better than that. But that was a time when literally buyers were running to all the open houses, and the open house host, generally the new construction listing realtor, would tell your buyer that if he bought that home with that listing realtor today, he'd get a discount on the price. So there was a lot of that going on, And so this buyer statement was developed. So that basically says this buyer is saying, Kathy Fernandez has my permission to write this offer. And it doesn't hurt anything, and most realtors don't use it anymore, but I still like this paperwork.
But
Because
your
your
buyer's
buyer may-
representation covers this too, but.
Yeah, but the
this is just
listing
a
realtor
comment.
doesn't know that.
What's that?
The listing realtor will not see the buyer rep agreement.
Okay.
So I throw the buyer statement in. So consider that, it's not necessary. And then, of course, the other realtor has their disclosure of conflict of interest to their affiliated business relationship. This typically is in the docs online. You'll want to get your buyer to sign that. And then our page 15 to 21 is the Jack White affiliated business arrangement. Stop me if anybody has any questions about this. And then we throw in the home inspection document. Regardless of the kind of loan it is, we want this home inspection document to be there. Now, the one thing about this document, if you look at the bottom, the fee for the inspection, usually between $300 and $450, is really out of date. I don't know any home inspector that charges, well, maybe for a small condo, you can still get $450, but I changed this right away. Our home inspections run about $600 plus the pest inspection or the mechanical inspection. The pest inspection is $150. The mechanical inspection is usually under $100. I put that right on there and I have my buyers sign that because I don't want them saying, this says it's $400, so you pay the difference.
Can't we get this changed or
It
revised?
should be changed, yeah.
Yeah, who does that?
I don't know, Becky. That would be a good task for you to work on if you could for us.
I know.
Should be changed.
It hasn't been revised since 2013.
Right.
Okay, now there's a document missing here. Who would guess which document is missing if this is an FHA or a VA loan?
Oh, the FHA mandatory clause.
The amendatory clause, right. This was not an FHA or VA loan, but if it was, you would be putting another form in here called the amendatory clause. What does the amendatory clause say generally? Anybody? Billy, do you know?
Not with confidence.
Okay. I know you know. Tell us what it means. Yeah.
The home has to appraise, and if it doesn't appraise for that amount or exceed that amount, it will.
Yeah, the way I stated in the amendatory clause, you're gonna, in the amendatory clause, you're gonna put the sales price in there, the agreed sales price, okay? And basically, I tell the buyer, what this means is if the home doesn't appraise for $350,000, you don't have to buy it, and the seller doesn't have to sell. And that, in my view, is the simplest explanation. Kelly, should I be explaining it? Is that, thank you.
And that's such a great form to have because it can save you quite a bit.
Oh, yeah. And then it's required for FHA and VA loans. And there's one other requirement for an FHA and a VA contract. Who knows what that is? Your hint is it's another home inspection document.
For your
What?
protection, get a home inspection.
Yeah, for your protection, get a home inspection. It's required by FHA and VA, and I put both of them in our contracts if it's an FHA or VA loan. Are we having fun? Okay, 18 to 21. Most realtors don't bother with the Title 21 document. It's actually in the body of the purchase and sale agreement anyway. But I kind of believe less or more is better than less, so I throw it in there and I tell my buyer, if you're worried about zoning changes on the property you're buying, go to the Muni and check the Muni website and see if there's going to be issues with zoning. Yes, ma'am, Becky.
You don't have it in here, let me look to be sure that you don't. I always put in the just white
The sex offender?
acknowledgement of home inspections.
That's it. That's what this was like.
Oh,
Oh, I know what you're asking. It's in here.
it is?
It should be.
I don't see it.
Should be. Whoop, where is it?
It's got page 17.
No, that's not it.
Yeah, so it could-
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
it
it
is in
is.
there, 17.
Okay,
You're right, and that's a good form, people.
And here's why
I missed
too,
that,
because, and Kelly, I'm so glad you're here, because, right there, it says the lender, when you get a home inspection, the buyer pays for that. That's their money. So they just bought
Well, they
that.
don't have to pay for it. Certain loans wouldn't, I think certain loans wouldn't allow them to pay for it. Is that right, Kelly?
The buyer,
Yeah, isn't it?
the home inspection?
Are there any loans where the buyer can't pay for the home? Okay.
No, the buyer always has to pay for it,
No, Becky,
right?
buyer typically pays for it. A seller could pay for it.
Oh, yeah.
If the
of
seller was
course.
willing.
Yeah, but, it's not quite the same though. But anyhow, so, that's their money. It belongs to them. However, on this form, which I like about it, it's the same thing as the buyer's representation agreement. I love it because it puts out everything on the table. So I might miss something to communicate to my clients, but then I'm always in check with my office, with my brokerage, and with these people. And that's what I tell them. I'm staying in line with my integrity of, I work for Jack White. So this is what we operate off of. And this
The
was,
acknowledgement of home inspection.
yeah, and then, to us also, and it really helps them to understand so they don't have questions. And they're like, and then I ask them, is there anything on this form that you have questions about?
Oh,
And I
yeah.
said, please know that no question is a dumb question. And it opens up. And then sometimes they ask the most dumbest questions. And I'm so thankful. They'll ask me, what is a lender? What is a home inspection?
Well, then you
Becky,
know you
let's-
got to align with
Then,
Let's try to get through, Becky, let's get
Yeah.
through this if you don't mind.
Sorry.
Okay. All right, so in this offer, our page 19 and 21, we put the square footage disclosure from the assessor's office and from the MLS. This listing realtor pushed back, and he didn't like the idea that his sellers might be obligated to what a previous MLS listing said the square footage was. So he came back at us with his document. Who cares? We didn't mind. We signed it. But I did not eliminate my 19 or 21, and I'll tell you why. I left it in there, crossed it out, because if Kelly got our purchase offer, purchase and sale agreement, and page 19 and 21 was missing, she would be all over me and want it. So it stays in there, we just cross it out. We always put in a page of the MLS printout.
Very helpful.
Yeah, and I think so too. Once I had a transaction where the MLS printout said the seller was providing a washer dryer. And they move in, the washer dryer is gone. So they got a new washer dryer. The realtor bought a new washer dryer for my client because it was on MLS and it wasn't there when they moved in. So this has value. And if you're gonna do a warranty, make it the last page of the contract. And the reason I make it the last page is so we don't forget about it. Several years ago, when warranties were fairly new, many title people missed collecting for this warranty. And too many than should have, never got paid for, and therefore your buyer, when he had a claim, never had a warranty. We always make it the last page of the contract. If your buyer has opted not to buy a warranty, we put that page as the last page and we say voided, and the buyer signs that they didn't want it. So you're protected. They can't get mad at you if a warranty would have covered something, a claim. So we make it, even if it's declined, we make it part of the contract. So that's our pages 1 through 21. We have some additional clauses. We will continue next week with additional clauses. Any questions so far?
Page 10 or 21,
What was that?
maybe that next week, the addendum.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've done that already. We can do it again.
Okay.
We can go back.
No, it's one over. That's good.
No, I would like your thoughts on this. So let's remember to do 10. Oh, 10?
The addendum.
Okay.
Amendment.
Let's stop there with the name.
We kind of skip over it. 10 or 21.
Okay, we can go back over it. We did talk about it. The question was, why do we do this? What's your take on that, Kelly?
Oh, it's very important to us.
Tell us why.
Well, it spells out so much for us. And dates and exactly what you wanted us to do.
10 of 21? 10 of 21 is the addendum.
Or amendment.
It's the addendum that speaks to who the parties are, who the team members are.
This one? Oh, that's just pertaining to that.
Yeah, but I think I know what you're talking about. Let's go back. I know what you're talking about.
You may have thought.
7 of 21.
Okay.
What is 7
So
of
you were
21?
doing over.
Yeah, we started at 9
Okay.
today.
Yeah, we sure did. But go back to 7. Additional terms and conditions.
But we still get these in from you guys a lot. And
What is that?
any amendments or addendums we get from, following up on contracts all the time. And they're just very helpful to us.
They're a roadmap for you.
Well, I
They are
like
a
that.
roadmap.
I like that you put, Kathy, you put addendum or number 1, because you keep changing it. If you're going back and forth, that's a great reference.
I think so too. It
And in
really
the
helps
dot
us.
loop, I put addendum date 3/23, 3/26. So then I know, because you get them all mixed up.
Oh, it's a mess. I know it's a mess.
So I'm stealing that. That's beautiful right there. It's so simple. Addendum number 1.
And we also like to repeat the recording date, repeat the sales price, because frankly, when you're doing a lot of business, you're gonna get sick of going back and looking up things. If you've got it on every addendum page and every amendment page, it saves you a lot of time. All right.
One of the things it sounds like we're going to go over next week is, this is repair amendment number 1. And the first two clauses of every amendment and addendum that Kathy writes is this document to be considered repair amendment number 1 to the reference purchase and sale agreement. Number 2, agreed sales price is blank, agreed recording date is on or before blank.
So it's always in front of you, always in front of you. Good idea. Thank you, Billy. Okay, any questions? Have a great week. Everybody show up with a new contract, either a new listing agreement or a new sale.
Wouldn't that be sweet?
Well, you can. We talked about your hot buyers today and your hot
I
sellers.
mean, if everybody did that.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's a lot of these meetings.
Oh, nice to meet you. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Thank you. Glad you're here. What type of law did you practice?
I tell you.
I think it's amazing he's one of the real estate agent. That's great.
Yes.
I got,
Chase.
So long, but and he saw how organized I was. He said, I need to keep that, and there was things that I was doing, and you know, I had one of his state clients.
So-
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
See you next week.
Next week, what's that? Yeah, with Scott. I just know it's Anderson. Yeah, that's the last name.
Cool. All right, I'll switch.
I'm loving my atmosphere right now.
Yeah.
You know, I'm still happy.
Let me know. Okay, I will, for sure. Obviously,
I
I'm just
do.
gonna go over
I know
it.
you do. You do that beautifully. So
What I was gonna say.
that's what makes you,
Yeah.
you know, not.
And I'll show you, okay, how the prices change. Maybe Thursday morning. Okay, you. All right. I know.
And then you see, it just takes,
How much?
just takes. You're smarter than you seem.
Yeah, I'll get you one Saturday.
Karen, I'm so happy to see you.
Oh, so good to see you.
Where did you get your haircut? It looks so good on you. Well, you trimmed down too.
Oh, thank you. Trying. This weekend?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I didn't even go to my hair lady because she
It
wasn't
just looks
available.
really
and I-
healthy.
Oh, thank you. I just got tired of always putting it up.
Hey, how are you doing?
Really good.
Did you, how's that going with that listing that you got with
Well, we already got,
going house to house?
we already got an offer on it, after just 5 days. It took us 8 until the 8th day.
I was bragging about you too. I forget who, but I was just like, here walks this young girl, and she just kind of seems like, oh, you know. And I, but you know, that's the cool part.
Yeah.
My nieces and stuff, they all seem kind of flighty, and that's not such a bad thing because you're like a little buzzing bee, and I have like that too sometimes. I was like, and people don't think that you can actually.
I'm passing the test.
Yeah, you're pretty smart.
Everyone's,
That's what it
the
up on you.
reason why I like staying here, you know, everyone's really helpful.
Yeah.
I'm Karen.
Here, my hands are wet. I just want to.
Oh, it's okay.
But nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
So,
Marty,
so you have, yes, and you have lots of knowledge of like contracts.
I kind of, but not. Yeah. It always feels like it's, even though it's the same wording type thing, but with different properties, different interests, things like that.
Are you on second floor?
I'm on the 3rd. I'm actually with Larry M's team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Everyone's super helpful.
Okay, you know, thank God.
Yeah.
And you were not allowed to stop. And then I just thought, how cute is that? And then he even wrote you a little note, and you just kept going. He said, Joseph Service could do that for you.
Yeah.
But
Why would I say when I could do it?
yourself, I already got that about you. But he doesn't see that,
Yeah.
because he would never do what you just did.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that he's wrong.
No, not at
It's
all.
just
He
we
was
all-
giving me
We all think exactly, and you just take it, and you live it beautifully, but, you know, like, you know, some people are so grateful. You would be like, how do you suggest that?
Yeah.
Or, why would you think this of me? I don't know, they just take it wrong.
You know, it's almost like
What's that?
John Wilson is very good, but I can never do it on the phone, you know?
Mhm.
I would go on depression and him,
Yeah,
you know?
but it's good to hear about it. Because this is how I see it, this is how I see you a lot of. You just sort of, you take it, but you believe in it.
Yeah.
I'm going back to the truth this way. Yes. But I see, oh my gosh, and then but she's so all these little transactions that I just did, the reason why I'm being tenacious and fierce is because, I mean, I'm loving stuff. And people think, oh, Becky, this is a flighty little bird, you know, but at the same time, I cut to the chase and get the job done. And I learned that with people like Kathy, J Fernandez, Gabe, Jen, Teresa. They're all powerhouse. Now, we're doing way more business than I probably will ever think to do in my lifetime. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And my husband would love me to be just like Kathy or Teresa or whatever. But I'm not that person.
Yeah.
I'm Becky. But I just glean all of this.
Yeah.
And then just take it. You know, like John, I'm saying with you, I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I buckle under pressure, but really not my thing. But maybe once in a while, I might dibble dabble.
Yeah.
And then you inspired me. Oh, yes, you totally did. Because you're so doggone cute. And I said, oh, so, I got a buy, or I got a listing. How'd you get your listing? I went door to door. But this person felt sorry for me, came out the window, or came out the door, like, what are you doing, or whatever you said. And I was busting up laughing. But you got the listing.
Yeah.
Because he had compassion for you. Like, what are you doing, little girl, by yourself? And I just thought, that's classic. I love it. And so that's why